All right, so we're diving into a world where AI is becoming like a helping hand in open source software.
Mm,
And I think that's super interesting, especially for, making life a bit easier for the maintainers out there.
absolutely. And that's what we're looking at today, this project called Oscar from Google.
Okay, Oscar. Sounds friendly.
Right.
So is this AI going to be like writing our code for us now or?
Well, not exactly. Oscar, it stands for Open Source Contributor Agent Architecture, by the way, is more about taking on, some of the less glamorous tasks.
Okay. When you say less glamorous, you're talking about all that stuff that keeps maintainers crazy busy, right?
Exactly. All those little things.
Yeah.
Answering questions, going through
Right.
issues, it piles up.
It's like the stuff that nobody really wants to do, but it has to get done.
Exactly. Maintainer toil, they call it. And it can be a real drain on actually making the software better.
So that's where Oscar comes in, like our AI hero.
That's the idea. And they're already testing it out. There's this prototype. They've got Gabby. It's actually live right now on GitHub.
Wait, really? Like working right now?
Yep. On-the-go programming languages issue tracker. You can find it, the username's at Gabby Help.
I love it when there's something tangible to look at. So what's Gabby's big claim to fame in this whole open source world?
Gabby's superpower, finding connections. Like instantly, imagine you've got this huge project, years of history, right? Gabby can sift through all that issues, documentation, even old discussions, and instantly find anything related to a new issue.
See, now that's interesting to me because on one hand, it's amazing, but on the other, if a bot is constantly finding years-old duplicates, doesn't that tell us something's kind of broken in how we're managing all this information?
You've hit on a really important point. Just because we have all this information online in issue trackers and documentation doesn't mean it's easy to find.
Especially in a huge project.
Exactly.
And we're not talking about obscure stuff, right? These
No.
are real issues that are probably affecting a lot of people.
Absolutely. There was actually a case where Gabby found a duplicate bug report that was 4 years old.
Oh.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
You're a developer, you just spent hours on this problem.
And a bot tells you it's already been reported. Talk about frustrating.
Right. It shows just how necessary something like Oscar could be. In fact, I remember one developer, after Gabby pointed out a duplicate, he even said something like, ugh, I'm not sure how I missed that one after all my searching.
Wow. So even if Gabby doesn't do anything else, that alone seems incredibly valuable.
Right.
But Gabby is just the beginning, right? It sounds like the team behind Oscar has much bigger plans. What else is in store for this AI assistant?
Well, for one, they're working on making Oscar, well, smarter. I'm talking about really understanding the content of these issues and actually taking action.
Okay, now that's what I'm talking about. Give me an example. How could that actually work?
Okay, so let's say you're a maintainer, you get a new issue. Instead of you having to read through the whole thing, tag it, figure out what to do next, Oscar could do a lot of that for you.
So not just finding duplicates, but actually processing information and making decisions.
In a sense, yes. It uses all this fancy AI stuff, natural language processing, machine learning. Like you could tell Oscar, hey, this issue is about slow code, tag it performance.
It's like having a conversation with your project management tool. That's wild.
Right. And it goes even further. They want Oscar to be able to look at a bug report and figure out, did the user actually provide enough information to reproduce this bug? What versions of the software are affected? Things like that.
Hold on. So you're saying before a human even looks at a new bug report, Oscar could be in there, making sure everything's organized, maybe even suggesting documentation to the user.
Exactly.
That would be incredible. Just like so much less stress for everyone involved.
Yep.
But we've been talking a lot about Gabby, which is cool, but let's zoom out a bit. What about the bigger Oscar system? What's the plan there?
So one of the big things they're focusing on is making it, adaptable.
Okay, adaptable how?
Like they're not trying to make something that's one size fits all. Every open source project is different, right? They all have their own tools, their own way of doing things.
So how do you make something like Oscar work for, I don't know, a giant project like Linux and also some tiny little software library?
That's where the whole agent idea comes in. Think of it like this, the core of Oscar, that's like the AI brain. It's got the natural language processing, the code analysis skills, all that.
All right, so that's the foundation.
Mm-hmm.
But then what?
Then each project can kind of build on top of that by adding their own custom modules. So if your project uses a really specific code analysis tool, You can just plug it right in.
I see.
Or let's say you want Oscar to handle certain types of issues in a certain way. You can set your own rules.
So instead of replacing all the tools that are already out there, it's more about connecting them all together.
Yeah, exactly. You could tell Oscar something like, hey, use this tool on this pull request, and if it finds any security problems, make sure a real person looks at it.
Delegation at its finest. But this does make me think, with all this talk about AI handling things, what about the human side? Are we going to lose that if we're not careful?
Right, and that's a really important question. The Oscar team, they get that. They're all about transparency and accountability.
So what does that look like in practice?
Basically, it means that anything Oscar does, any suggestion it makes, you can trace it back to the data, to the reasoning behind it. No black boxes here.
Okay, so if Oscar does something weird, you can figure out why. It's not like we're trying to create some AI overlords here, right?
Right.
It's more about having a really, really smart assistant who can take care of the boring stuff, but ultimately the humans are still in charge.
Exactly. It's about making humans better at what they do, not replacing them completely.
Which, now that you mention it, we've been talking a lot about maintainers, and for good reason.
Right.
But open source isn't just about maintainers, right? It's about all the people who contribute their time, their skills to make these projects better.
Absolutely.
So could something like Oscar actually make it easier for people to contribute?
I think that's one of the most exciting possibilities here.
Really?
Think about it. One of the biggest hurdles for new contributors, it's just the complexity of these projects,
Right.
figuring out where to start, understanding all the rules. It can be overwhelming, even for someone who's been coding for a while.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And that's where Oscar could be huge. Imagine having this AI assistant that can walk you through everything. You've got questions, it's got answers. Need to find the right documentation. Oscar can point you in the right direction.
Like a personal guide to the open source world.
Exactly. And it's not just about the technical stuff either. What about language barriers?
Mhm.
Oscar could potentially translate documentation, even code comments. That would open up a whole new level of collaboration for people all over the world.
It's pretty amazing to think about all the things that could be possible. But with AI becoming such a big part of this, I do have to wonder, are we going to lose that human element that makes open source so special?
It's a good question. But I think, like we were saying before, it's all about balance, right? It's not about getting rid of human interaction altogether.
More like making the interactions we do have even better.
Right. Just
Right.
imagine, instead of a maintainer spending all their time on those initial tasks, just trying to get a handle on all the new issues, what if Oscar took care of that?
Yeah.
Filter out the duplicates, spot missing information, even point people to the right docs.
That way the maintainers have time to actually, use their skills to solve the hard problems.
Yeah, exactly. And it frees them up to mentor new contributors, have those really in-depth discussions, the stuff that often gets pushed aside when you're drowning in busy work.
So it's almost like by removing some of the barriers, AI could actually help us get back to that original spirit of open source.
It's an interesting thought, isn't it?
Yeah.
But we do have to remember, all of this is still pretty new.
Right. It's not like Oscar's going to be running the entire open source world next week.
Probably not next week, no.
Mhm.
But the potential is huge, that's for sure. It'll be exciting to see where things go from here.
It does feel like we're on the edge of some pretty big changes in how we think about software and how it's built. It's amazing to think about all the possibilities.
Absolutely. And this is really just the beginning. Who knows what kind of incredible innovations are still to come as we explore this whole intersection of AI and open source.
That's the big question, isn't it? If we can hand off all those tedious tasks to AI, what does that mean for the future of open source? Will we see a burst of creativity, software that's more innovative, more accessible? What do you think? Let us know. This has been a fascinating deep dive, and we can't wait to see where this conversation goes next. Until then, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.
See you next time.